Good morning. Sorry, I'm in my office right now, and the lighting is such where I get glare on my glasses. So I'm just going to be in here for a short while, and then I'll go into the living room where I think there's less glare on my glasses. It's Sunday, June 28th. Mine still races, but I think it's racing at a lower speed, so I guess that's good news. I'll talk a little bit about Susie, some of the little things that I'm doing at home to maintain as well as get things ready for her potential return. Again, that's still a question mark. And it's less than 2 weeks from her discharge date, so I'm looking at my notes, so that's why I'm looking down. We had a special guest yesterday, and I've got a little video clip of the guest. This was at the unit. That's what they call it, the unit. So what I thought I'd start off with is a couple of things, what Susie's schedule is for today. And I was kind of thinking she got checked in a week ago Friday night to the acute rehab unit. And there wasn't a lot of activity over the weekend. Now, Friday was Juneteenth, national holiday. I think she did have some, different therapies, physical, maybe occupational and speech, but it's not real clear to me. And I know people came in to do evaluations of her, or therapists, pardon my hand, to kind of assess where she was, because this was the beginning point of the rehab, which is the final step on the hospital stay. So she had a pretty full complement of treatment yesterday. I'll tell you what happened with that. And today she has scheduled, I'm just going to turn my phone around to read it. So today, make sure I got this lined up. Hopefully you can see that clearly. SLP, speech therapist. So somebody is going to have breakfast with her at 8 a.m. And they've been trying to test her swallow reflex for larger stuff. So it's interesting. They do this incrementally. She's on what they call minced and moist, which is slightly more texture than baby food, but not much. And so the next step up is moist and something. I forget. I asked what the deal was. And it's like, I'm going to say they had a little thing of peaches, and I'm going to say it's like 3/8 of an inch by 3/8 of an inch. So that's slightly bigger than a quarter by a quarter. And they brought in graham crackers, and I'm thinking graham crackers, that's pretty dry. Well, it's special graham crackers that melt in your mouth, not in your hand, kind of thing, like M&Ms. So, no concern there. And she came in yesterday, and as I've mentioned, Susie's kind of in an MO of, I'm not doing anything that's therapy related. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that, but let's get back to her schedule. So that's 8 a.m. And after that at 8:30 with Laura as well is, I guess, regular speech therapy for 30 minutes. So it's 30 minutes breakfast, 30 minutes regular speech therapy. And then at 9 a.m., she has occupational therapy with Mai Fan, and I don't know Mai, have not met her or him. And then physical therapy treatment with Megan. Have not met Megan, and that's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't think I'm going to be there early, so my plan is to get there around noon. I'm trying to get stuff done at the house, as I mentioned earlier. So anyway, stuff comes up. I don't think anything is random in life. So I'm using Susie's phone and my phone to do recordings and different things. It's just like having a spare unit available. If my phone is charging and I want to make a video, I have hers, which I did do yesterday for the special guest that showed up. And so I was looking at her pictures on her phone, and there was a screenshot on her phone, and this was from November 21st of last year. And I thought, well, it's something that really struck me, and I'm going to read it to you. It's fairly brief. And it's from somebody, I'm assuming this may have been on Facebook, but I don't know. It's from somebody, or maybe Instagram. Somebody by the name of James D. Nicole Antonio. That's a mouthful. His handle is at Dr. James D. Nick. Okay. So he's saying, let's see if I can show it. He's saying 90% of life is mental. Most days you're not battling life, you're battling your own negative thoughts. The problem isn't the problem. Your reaction to the problem is. Master your thoughts and take back control. Well, I get all that except mastering my thoughts. It's back and forth. The other thing that's come up for me recently is there's a saying that I think is attributed to Lao Tzu, or Eastern traditions, like in Buddhism. I don't know which, but it's when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, wow, this teacher dealing with Susie's stroke, that might be my teacher here. And same thing for Susie, her experiencing this. Is this stroke her teacher? Kind of amazing to contemplate that idea. Anyway, I'm just going to read a brief thing from that. I looked it up on Copilot, my ever-present mentor, AI mentor. It says the phrase means guidance, knowledge, and mentorship becomes meaningful only when a person is prepared to receive it, reflecting readiness rather than fate. So, is the stroke a fate thing, or is it a readiness thing? I don't know. It says it emphasizes the learning occurs when a person reaches a point when new information can be understood and applied. Readiness is not about calmness or spiritual achievement, but often arises from frustration, feeling stuck, or realizing old methods no longer work. Well, I think, I've certainly had frustration and a whole range of other emotions. I'm sure I know Susie's been frustrated and feeling stuck in a hospital bed. At this stage, the mind becomes receptive, resistance drops, and new insights can be absorbed. Oh boy, I don't know if my resistance has dropped. So, I'm going to move to the next room, and I'll tell you about Susie some of the things I'm doing. Gonna take a little sip of coffee. My mouth feels dry. Okay, pardon the hand. Sip of coffee. Okay. Notes. I told you yesterday that I had washed her clothes and I packed them, folded them, and I have like a little paper bag that you get with like at a Macy's or something with handles. A nice looking bag, not a grocery bag, but still a brown bag. Trying to keep it simple here. So I took them into her room with me, and I showed her, that I had cleaned her clothes and that I'd followed her instructions. And so the question was that I had for her is, these are all folded. Do you want me to put them in the closet folded, or do you want me to hang them up? Because I brought her tops and her little t-shirt tops and her pants were all hanging. And there's room in the closet, this little closet for hanging. I thought, let's utilize that, but I wanted to give her the option. And so I was asking her, which do you want? Well, she wasn't really answering that. She was motioning with her left hand and trying to speak. She was verbalizing, but I couldn't understand it. So I don't know how, but I got into a series of yes or no questions where she can say no or yes. And somehow I concluded that she didn't want the clothes to be left in her room. She wanted me to take them back home, which made me ask her, do you not want to get dressed anymore? And she did this. And I thought, wow, she's made a decision, She's had a couple of days here where she's not playing ball with the program. She's asserting herself, and the doctor said, she's taking control of what she can control, which is her willingness to participate in therapies. And for the last 2 days, yesterday and Friday, she is not doing therapy, and she covers her face when they come in. No, they can't establish eye contact. And initially she was just shaking her head now it's covering her face, and no, she's shutting them out. And I don't want her to shut me out. I want her to know she can trust me 100%. I'm there to be her advocate for what she wants, not just what I want. And that's really tough. Tough to separate me from my desire for her to recover, or recover to some degree. She's never going to be the same. And I think that that realization is settling in with her. This is just my guess. I'm hopeful that this is just a bump in the road and not a decision. And if it's a bump in the road, then maybe she gets back on track, starts receiving treatment, and be a willing participant. And, they said before we got into the program, that was one of the things that they monitor is, are you willing to do the work? And so I have a concern is, are they going to boot her out? I mean, you've got all these resources. You don't want to park those in the garage. They're meant to be ridden and driven and utilized. So don't want to waste that opportunity, because we aren't going to get something like this again. I'm absolutely 100% sure of that. So if it's a decision, Susie can be very resolute. You know, it's one of those things where you're not going to talk her out of it. She's going to have to come to her own conclusion. And I'm trying to get some kind of support from a psychologist that might be there, not to change her mind, but to understand the inner person, to understand her wants, where she's at. It's very difficult to be able to do that clearly. So, like in this example of the clothes, she's telling me, I think it's what she's telling me, I don't want to dress anymore. Okay. And I don't want these clothes here. Okay. And so I'm thinking, wow, she wants me to take these home, not have them here. And then I'm thinking, you know, I don't want to betray her, as I'd mentioned before. I want to be the trusted advocate for her wishes. And so I'm thinking in my mind, well, why don't I just take them and put them in my car, and I'm here for several hours a day. That way we can readily access them if she changes her mind or whatever. So I'll tell you what happened with that at the end here. Oh, the thought came in my head. So this is totally out of the blue, unrelated, but kind of related. I mentioned on a previous video, I got a jury summons, as if I didn't have enough going on already. And I went online, and, you know, they have a way for you to say, hey, I can't make it because of this reason. And I filled that out and attached a letter that I had from the social worker at the hospital. Basically, it was written for Social Security. That bell is the laundry I'm doing this morning, which are towels. And so when I'm done with the video, I'll put them in the dryer. But anyway, I was unsure when I did this online with the jury's website if they'd received my stuff. You know, usually websites, when you submit something, you get what they call a thank you page. It comes up and they say, thank you for submitting your stuff. We'll review it and get back to you. Well, I didn't get anything that indicated that it was received, and so I was concerned about that. So I got an email the other day that said, hey, your excuse has been accepted. So that's one less thing off the plate. So anyway, back to Susie. I mentioned swallowing larger soft food is one of the things that the speech therapists are trying to evaluate, which is also important for potentially bringing her home. It allows us to graduate to larger soft. It has to be soft stuff, which would make life much easier for me in terms of meal prep. I took in the crazy oatmeal that I'd done a little video on. Basically, it's oatmeal with a sourdough culture, and it's kind of a more creamy consistency than regular oatmeal, which I'd say is more of a sticky consistency. Speech therapist thought it would be fine. I say, you know, because you can bring food in. I said, okay, this is what she usually has with her cereal or oatmeal. It's oatmeal. She puts in a little banana. She puts in some minced walnuts and a little bit of maple syrup. And I knew the walnuts were a no-go. That's just too hard, not soft enough. So she said, yeah, you can do that, and you bring it in. We have a little refrigerator. You can label it. I forgot to ask if they have microwave, because she's not going to want to eat that cold. So anyway, that's a possibility. I'll set that up. She said I said, how small do I need to cut the banana? She said, you need to mash it. So I know all that, so I can accomplish that for Susie. And we'll see. Maybe she likes the hospital food. I mean, she's been eating scrambled eggs, and I know she likes eggs, but hasn't had them for breakfast in a long time. Usually, on occasion, she'll have eggs over easy at home and toast for dinner. I'll have something else, and for her, that's kind of a comfort food. Eggs over easy. She'll eat it a lot a lot. She'll eat it frequently when her stomach is unsettled. That seems to be something that works for her. So, no surprise she likes eggs. Maybe she likes them better than oatmeal. So, I want the oatmeal for the fiber, as I mentioned, and help her with her bowel movements. And haven't followed up yet on whether there's a stool softener that they're giving her so it keeps her regular or what the deal is. So I want to find out about that. Susie is still refusing a lot of her meds. She's refusing the blood pressure meds, the cholesterol meds, and I was told yesterday she's refusing the blood thinner meds. Well, I didn't even know she was on blood thinner. I'd been told at an earlier stage that she wasn't on blood thinner and they were doing it with aspirin, baby aspirin. And I asked yesterday, is she on baby aspirin and is she taking the baby aspirin? And they said, yes, she is on it. Baby aspirin and she's taking it. So she's taking the baby aspirin. She's taking I keep saying estrogen when I mean thyroid. She's taking her thyroid and she's taking the antibiotics for her urinary tract infection. And I've been thinking that, discomfort from the urinary tract infection may be influencing her attitude about participating in therapy. So that's why I'm hoping this is just a bump in the road and not a decision against therapy moving forward. I've tried to do some strategizing with the therapists and other people because, they have an hour to do their thing with Susie and they come right in. And when they're coming right in and they're looking at her, Susie's covering her face and game over. So I said, don't look at her. Come and talk to me. Let's sit down and chat for a little bit. I know that impacts the amount of time you have, and maybe we can slowly work into some kind of therapy. Might have to be abbreviated, but anyway. We'll see. Need to water the garden this morning, and this morning I'm going to be walking at 7 a.m., which is in about 30 minutes, and doing that with my neighbor Pietro. Told him about my 2 walk options. One is about 4 miles. I walked to the park, which I posted yesterday, the park part, and the other part, it's a longer version where I walked through the park and part of the adjoining neighborhood, which makes it a 5-mile walk. So anyway, gonna do that. I think we're just doing to the park and back. Pietro said he didn't feel he'd have the time. So that's cool. I'll get to show him my little routine. I walk at a pretty good clip, 4 miles an hour or less, or more, excuse me. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, the clothes that she told me to take, not leave in the room. As I'm getting to leave last night, or it's about 4:15ish. I wanted to reconfirm what her desire was, and I said, Susie, these are your clothes that I've cleaned. Clean clothes. I have them folded in this bag. Do you want me to take them home? And she shook her head no, which surprised me. And I said, do you want me to leave these here? And she said yes. So I don't know if she changed her mind. I don't know if I misunderstood, but it just reconfirms that don't trust the first input. Test everything. So I labeled the bag clean clothes, and she didn't want me to put them in her little closet. I don't know why. She was motioning, as she does frequently, with her left hand and trying to speak. She was verbalizing, but it wasn't understandable. So that is so frustrating for her and frustrating for me. I'm doing my best to follow her wishes, and I just don't know what she wants. So I labeled them. I left her. They have a huge windowsill there. It's a huge window, but the windowsill is like 11 inches deep. It's huge. So that's where I have the big hydrangea that I took in, and I'll post that video of her reaction when I took it in last week, the hydrangea. Left the clothes there. I'm hopeful that I understood her correctly. I absolutely want her to think that, I'm following her wishes. So if she doesn't want the clothes there, she doesn't want to get dressed. I know those are not good signals in terms of recovery. And so anyway, guys, I think that's all I've got for today. Much love. Appreciate all your feedback, your comments. Feel free to share this with other people that we know in common, because I know I haven't gotten to everybody out there. And got stuff to do. And anyway, appreciate you. Have a great day.